meeting will come to order. This is a meeting of the Select Board on June 23rd, 2025, and it is 5 p.m. We have posted this agenda to conform with the open meeting law in 3 public places on our website and have emailed to all people that have requested notification of our meetings. So I think we're good to go legally. An amendment to the open meeting law that was passed on June 9th also allows you to post in other neighboring towns. If, let's say, the general store is in a neighboring town instead of yours, if you think it's interested to the public, you can post your meeting agenda in those towns as well. Just a little tidbit. Somebody coming. Before we proceed with any business tonight, we are also supposed to ask if there are any additions or deletions to the agenda. Another amendment to the open meeting law. We did have an addition for the Grand Fondo Saturday, June 28th bike race. Rally
cycling event.
Cycling event. June 28th, Allow Park Southwest Corner.
They're asking if you allow.
Can have their little booth there.
Yep.
So we will get to that. We just wanted to make sure it was put on the agenda. Minute.
Also, can I add one other thing?
You
Sorry,
certainly
didn't mean
can.
to interrupt. But on our agenda, we had the update the TAN amount, and I'd like to change it to approve tax anticipation promissory note to Mascoma Bank, loan number 6404285.
And that would be
in the amount of $235.
That's in addition to what I have as number 4 on our agenda.
Yep. So that way we have it listed on the agenda. And when I send, because I have to send him the agenda as well, so it has to be worded as well.
So noted.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and approve some minutes. Now, I did want to make a notation to the minutes of June 9th, 2025. They were very well written, very conclusive, and the meeting itself was very productive and orderly. Thank you, folks, for that. I move that we approve the minutes of the June 9th, 2025 meeting.
Second that.
All in favor? Aye. Shall they all be that way? Next, we have shall we move into our departmental reports, prior meetings, guests, department, or shall we hear from Martha first? She there?
Yeah, she's on Zoom.
Martha, are you bringing something to the table, or you just
It's part of the new business.
Okay, we'll talk to you under new business then. That must be the park use application.
Okay, yes, that's what that was for, the park use application.
Okay, you just
Thank you.
hang on a couple more minutes.
Sure, that's fine.
Do we hear from the library this evening?
I do not have anybody on Zoom.
I bet we're going to hear from the highway department. Hi, John.
Well, we got our 550 back and we replaced the tread plank on Corporation Bridge. And we started paving on the mountain today.
So people are noticing what you're doing now. Yep.
Wow.
You're by Kevin Doherty's right now.
Yeah, the lower section.
Yep.
They'll come back for the upper section when they get it ready.
Cool. And that's anticipated to be completed by the end of the week?
The lower section?
Yeah. Tomorrow?
They get to be tomorrow.
Yeah. And then about 4 or 5 weeks from now is when we get into August with.
I've got culverts to change up there, and that's a few wrenches get thrown in the works and.
Before school starts?
Back and replanning.
Okay.
Still gonna happen.
Yeah. To be announced. Terry, what do we have for utilities?
All good.
All good. Well, that's not a bad report. Good time of year to have it all good. But Jeff has something to talk about that.
I'll try to keep brief. I was told by GMP that we have our parking lights for the parking ride down there. I said May 19th was the installation, and I know I pulled in there since that date and I didn't see anything. So this time I got out of the car and stood where I stood when I took the picture, and it's not on the blonde pole. There's one that hangs over the road right there. And there's another one that hangs kind of in at the entrance to the parking area. We'll
None
have
of
to
them
compare
affect.
the old photos to the new to see if they put one in a wrong location or whether they've been misinformed by their electrician. So the mystery goes on there. I did try to make a follow-up on the resiliency zone. Couldn't reach anybody, but they promised to get back to me soon. The library, we have just about completed the spreadsheet, taking all three walls and reducing it to just the one north wall. That first floor cladding is not a product one can pick up somewhere. I searched and searched, and I finally found, after going through the Home Builders Association, a couple people who do milling of, custom milling. So I have a request out for an estimated cost of custom milling from 3 different companies. I'm in the second week now waiting for a reply. They all seemed interested when they contacted me, but again, I'm on the second week. The biggest thing holding up getting moving on an RFP or from the grant, the implementation grant, work grant, is a decision as to what is going to happen downstairs. Are we going to keep it a public area or a non-public area? The 20,000 we're directed to spend, or up to 20,000 we're directed to spend to become ADA compliant, is applied against the full grant. So it amounts to about $70,000 of ADA expenditures. The issue is the occupancy. We have the veterans downstairs meet there. The document that I'm going off of is a 92 era review of the building. Both elevator took care of the biggest ticket item, but there's a bunch of things that we didn't have to do because the basement was not a public space. Back then it was for the first responder. I don't know what the board's desires are with that, but that, $70,000 in that grant's a big swing.
Are the vets downstairs considered a public organization or a private club? Would that make a difference?
I think that the language I kept seeing is open to the public.
I don't know that they're open to the public. I mean, you have to be a vet.
I can get you a copy of the documents that I'm working off of.
It's good.
Carrie Schaefer was in charge here at the time, and we have a list of things that are crossed off, but then we have the balance that what amount to a significant.
Yeah, we may have to contact somebody.
I mean, this bathroom, some of the things are upstairs too.
Right, well, we did have money for making these bathrooms ADA compliant. That was part of the grant, correct? I believe that some of the grant was designated to make our bathrooms ADA compliant.
Yep, we knew that there would be some money taken.
Yep.
For that function. It's just that the initial thought was the basement is free and clear. It's just up here, and that's maybe not the case. I don't know. It's a
Well, let's see if we can
decision.
find a definition. What do you know, Nancy?
I know it's with the American Legion. They've been in there since the seventies, at the direction of the, select board.
Mhm,
Rescue squad came later than that.
mhm. But is the organization,
An organization.
is it open to the public when they have their meetings, or are they having private meetings
I
like the
think
Masons did? The
The
Masons
people
were a
that come
private
are
club,
just Members of the American Legion.
correct? So that might be a little bit of a difference in the open to the public designation. Might not be that way. There are people from the public that go down there to meet. So it might be a matter of semantics there.
All I'm gonna do is bring it to you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask that question
I
just
saw the baby in nap.
for curiosity's sake. So I'll see if I can help a little bit there. Because we do need to move this along if we can. We'd like to get air conditioning in this building too. Is that possible? We'd have heat pumps, right?
Option two on the HVAC, do air source, heat pumps, for heating and cooling the space. But it also requires, a propane backup. So I propose to the state and their auditors that we increase insulation levels, specify airtightness, and see if we can eliminate the propane backup system. The other thing is if we can pull some of the ducts back into the conditioned space, that will also help with that end.
Okay, let's keep plugging away at it.
The other thing is that we ran into it with the AC last summer, discussion about it, the service panels really got to be doubled there. To do all of this. And the other option one was a pellet boiler, that won't provide any cooling.
No, it will not.
Oh, for a second.
The service panel, that's gonna cost a little bit. Okay, well, I'll do my little part on this end, see if we can pull something off for the basement. Okay. That's it? Thank you. It's a lot of work. Do we have grant updates?
I do not.
Repurposing high school committee update. I hear we have bad news and good news.
Yes, so we did not get the CDBG grant that we applied for $750,000. I did speak with Nathan Cleveland a week ago Thursday. Most of those projects were all towards housing because that's what the governor wanted. I think there was two smaller awards. These are called implementation grants, one to a food co-op, and I don't know what the other one is. But as of today, the good news is we got $1 million grant from Catalyst grant from the Northern Borders Regional Commission. And so that's very happy news.
Very happy news.
Yeah. We met with Rena Peck at USDA RD for over 2 hours last Thursday. Pat was with us and we got several. This was about the letter of obligation, which obligates the funds, the Senator Sanders CDS money to the town. And Pat was very clear she wasn't signing until she had certain questions answered.
Kristen was with
One
us
of the
too.
main questions was asked by the public, what if the project fails? Are we then, going to have to pay back the money? And the answer is no, we do not have to pay back the money. Because we are not using USDA funds to purchase the building and we're not borrowing money from the USDA. So that is a big weight off of the select board and I think everybody really. And so, the other question that Pat had was, well, in 5 years, can we transfer the property to the VHI, Valley Hub Inc.? And yes, without any problem, the town can make that transfer if the town decides they want to do that in 5 years. So Pat, you want to speak to, Pat did sign the letter and now I think it's being reviewed by the town attorney. And so far, nothing scuttled, right? I mean.
Nope, so far the town attorney has not come back with any any comment, positive or negative, about the contract itself. And he did say he was going to prepare his statement of representing the town of Rochester to complete the grant.
So, July 11th at noon, we'll be meeting, at the school. So we won't be here, Julie.
Okay.
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 To do the value engineering so that we, make sure that we have a fully funded project with the funds that we have. We'll probably be it's been in 2 stages, phase 1 and phase 2. My guess is that it's gonna go to phase 3, but I don't wanna speak before I meet with the architects and engineers, and that's July 11th at noon. So I think Vic's got something to say too. Hey, Vic.
Hey, Vic, you're fuzzy.
Nothing to add, really. It's just great news. We're very thrilled about the $1 million award that we learned about today and the flexibility that we have with the project, funding both the Sanders grant and getting the additional boost of $1 million today. So it's all good.
I want to shout out to Peter Rude, who was a great support in the whole process, and Kristen, our Kristen LaBelle. We have some good stories to tell about getting everything in by the deadline. Taking multiple laptops and multiple cell phones, but we did it. Yeah,
Good group of people.
so it was a good team. And I was happy to tell Peter the good news today.
And we're happy to share that good news with Martha Slater as well. I'm sure she will have something in the paper about that. Well, thank you. Select board updates. It's actually been a quiet couple weeks. I really don't have anything to report about any activity that had happened since our last meeting. But there were, as I have already mentioned once, some new open meeting law amendments. And one of those amendments was addressing discipline during public meetings. And it was addressed somewhat by the legislature as an amendment to the open meeting law. VLCT took that amendment and put it into some good plain language that I would like to leave with Julie. If anybody wanted to stop and take a look at it, perhaps we could even post it in the bulletin board down below. We will be putting it on our next meeting agenda to make it an actual ordinance in our town so that we will have more power to address disorderly discussions and things. So I thank the legislature for that. And that's all I really have. You have anything for the select board report? Nope, we're good too. Seems like we're into summer.
Oh, one little add-on, I just wanted folks to know that Sarah Ray did complete the environmental review and all that went into USDA as well. And of course, we all know what a fabulous support Sarah Ray is to all of us.
Yeah, a wealth of information as well. So thank you, Sarah, but we're not done with you yet, Sarah. Do not leave us now. So let's move along to new business. Let's start with the additional Grand Fondo Saturday, June 28th, allowed park southwest corner. There's nothing for us to sign or anything, so I guess I move that we will allow them to use the southwest corner of the park, which is by the park house. And they'll have a couple pop-up tents and it's like a check-in station thing. So, it's bicycles, a bicycle rally, I think is what it's called. And, it's one of their checkpoints and hope they have good weather. I move that, we accept and allow the Grand Fondo to use the southwest corner of the park on Saturday. All in favor? Aye.
Excuse me, Patty, I didn't get the date for that. What was the date?
Saturday, June 28th.
Thank you. So just this Saturday then.
Yes, ma'am. I read over the May treasurer's report. It all looks in order for the second to last month before the year closes. The numbers get bigger as they go along, but the percentages are pretty much in order. So I move that we accept the treasurer's report for May of 2025.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Oh,
Aye, and this has been signed, so we are good with that. Updated TAN amount of $235,323 at Mascoma Bank, approval and permission for Kristen Lapel to advance funds as needed. TAN is a tax anticipation note. So to bridge the gap between your last payment in May and the next payment in August puts a gap in our financial road. So a tax anticipation note it bridges the gap. And so, we did it last year. A lot of other towns do it because of how the structure of their payments come. That doesn't happen. So, here we are doing this again. I do need to read a statement that our attorney says must be read publicly. So everybody listen, I'm only gonna do it once. It's not that long. I move to approve the tax anticipation promissory note to Mascoma Bank, loan number 640-42835 in the amount of $235,323 even. Once the motion is approved, you and the board can sign the document. So I so move.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You promise, we'll pay it back.
Yeah, we will, fast.
Excuse me, Pat, did you skip over driveway permit for Sawmill Hill, or did I miss that?
I did, because I wanted to get this done,
Okay,
and I'm gonna
pardon
go
me.
back to that, and it was the next piece of paper in my,
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt.
well, my numbers got screwed up. But why don't we go ahead and do the driveway permit for Sawmill Hill? This is 209 Sawmill Hill Road. Driveway permits are required to go through the select board because they do affect the highway department. So they're not really building permits per se. We always take a driveway construction permit and we always run it through our highway department to make sure that the location of the driveway is not too steep, the drainage is right, it's not blind. There's a lot of different things that the highway sees that we don't about where a driveway comes into a road. So we did actually get a very quick blessing by Hooter for this one. And so once we have his blessing, then the select board has no problem in approving the permit. So I move that we do approve a driveway construction permit at 209 Sawmill Hill Road in Rochester for Daniel Ward.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll go ahead and sign that. And get your pen ready, because the next thing we do is sign a lot of them.
Do you guys reach out to him to let him know that that's been approved?
I usually do.
What's that?
I do, yeah.
You do? Okay,
Mhm.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Hey, Robert, we're in new business right now.
Well, let me know when you're doing public comments.
We certainly will. Just listen in.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I lost my agenda. No. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Park use application for the White River Valley Players Harvest Fair, which is set for September 6th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Fun for all. Martha, do you have something to say about this?
Well, it's our 37th annual Harvest Fair, and we're hoping that you'll approve, let us have the fair on the park again. And it's become kind of a valley event, and people seem to really like it. So we would like to do it again. And I've been the producer for 20 some odd years, but I'm going to still work on it some, but we're going to, Christine Mayer and Erica Robinson are going to co-produce, with me kind of giving them some hints along the way. After I've done it for a lot of years, and I decided after doing 4th of July and everything else too, I needed to take a break. So, but that's
So
anyway.
you were recruiting people. And I don't think you could have picked a better pair than Erica and Christine. So, I find that all fine.
Yeah. Yay.
Yes, yes, thank God.
So all I ask the select board to do is pray for good weather because we've had a lot of rainy Saturdays.
Mm.
We're over that. We're over that. So I move that we allow the White River players to use the park for the Harvest Fair on September 6th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And I say thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome very much. A good time would be had by all. I am now signing the paperwork for the TAN tax
Anticipation.
note. That was a test. Only Julie knew what it stood for. I don't think we signed it, did we?
We signed, so that will be for me.
That would be for you.
But did you get, yeah, you got all of them?
Yeah, we'll look back over
Okay.
them. Under old business, we have approved and signed revised amendment to the Wyman Lampier Architects contract for the high school repurposing project. Is that something that we're bringing forward tonight, or are we going further into the next meeting with that?
I think there's,
I think it's something that we want to do tonight, right, Vic?
Vic, is that
Yes.
what you said?
Yes, it's
Okay.
recommended for tonight.
Okay. I know it's almost a fluid situation, so.
The difference from the last time is that it's substantially lower cost for the water flow test.
Okay. So overall, the bottom line hasn't wiggled too much. It's just funds moving from one category to another for the most part.
No, this is new cost and it will be paid for by donations
Okay,
and made to VHI on behalf of the construction project. So it's engineering studies and the flow test study. It wasn't anticipated in the initial contract with the architects.
okay, so which one are we supposed to be signing? The
It
newest
should be
one?
dated
This one on
June
top,
12th. Dated June 12th for a total of $18,800.
It's not asking for mine. It's asking for Julie's.
But it should be it should be signed by the, yeah. We could cross it out, put your, title.
Can I just request that any of this stuff going forward, can I be CC'd on the emails too, please?
Oh, sure.
Kind of music. Cool.
Okay, let's move into, that's all our business, correct? Let's move into public comment, which is limited to 3 minutes. Robert, we're in public comment session now.
Oh, thank you. Who's timing it?
Nobody yet, but we will now. There we go.
Well, let me just say this. My words are timed. Your words with respect in response are your words. So most importantly, on May 12th, there was a woman, I think her name is Martha Slater, who is the official reporter for the Randolph Herald. I'm going to quote this. And she demanded this to the select board, Mr. Tizzo and Mr. Richardson. Finish him up. She had no right. She did not raise her hand. And she said, finish him up. So I've talked to Tim Calabro, and I hope Martha Slater's listening, because Tim and Martha were to have a conversation regarding her arrogance and involvement in being the quote-unquote reporter for the official newspaper of Rochester. Martha Slater has no right to demand to the select board to finish a public person up So she can go on and on and on. I am going forth, and I'm going to call Tim Calabro tomorrow, that Martha Slater be replaced as the reporter in the town of 05767. If Martha
Okay.
has comments regarding this disgraceful public comment interaction, I'm asking her right now to comment on her total.
No, all your comments are directed to me, and I don't see where any of this is pertaining to the meeting that we have on the table today. So,
Well, you know, Patty, the other
can
thing
move
I
on
want
to
to
the
bring up
next
is,
subject.
no, I don't think you're listening. So I'm going to bring up the 4 C's: collusion, corruption, conflict, and contracts. So maybe Martha's sitting back in her lounge chair over at the house. So I want to see a caution to the taxpayers and property owners of Rochester to be aware of the rampant collusion, corruption, and conflict of interest, and including contracts. So let's see how Martha reports that.
Thank you.
Robert,
Patty,
it sounds like you have to do what you have to do, but we need to keep it on subject here. Where this is going off
good
the
luck with
subject of
subject.
tonight's meeting.
I'm sorry, what?
We're trying to stay on the subject of the agenda tonight with the public comments.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. The next select board meeting, this agenda, I will put forth the retirement of Martha Slater on the agenda, and not inclusive of the removal of the Randolph Herald as the official newspaper, because it's
So noted.
garbage.
Thank you. So noted. Thank you.
So where are my minutes?
Where are your minutes? You are about 7 seconds left.
Okay. Well, good night, and I hope everyone stays cool.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me.
Yes, Martha.
I did say something like that without having my mute on because I was upset with the way he was acting at that meeting, and that was my mistake. And I apologized to my boss. I already talked to him about this 2 weeks ago after that meeting, when he called up and gave Tim Calabro a really hard time about me. And I'll admit, it was a mistake on my part. I apologize, but I have no idea what he's talking about in all those other things about rampant collusion and stuff. What could that be? I don't know.
I'm not even going to go there, Martha. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Anyway,
we're going to be adopting an ordinance at our next meeting, hopefully. That would probably put a little cap on this going forward.
Good, and I just don't want I hope the select board won't consider getting rid of the Herald, because that's important to a lot of people to read about meetings and stuff. And I do the best I can. I'm a human being and I make mistakes sometimes, but I try to do a good job. Julie can tell you because I call her occasionally on Tuesday. Thank you. Okay, I'll hang up now. I mean, I'll be quiet. You've got more to say, probably, I'm sure. For the
actually, we're at the end of our agenda.
Okay.
It is very warm in this room, so I think everybody would. Oh,
Nobody else?
I'm sorry. Public comment.
Yeah. Briefly, I need to return to the situation in School Street, and there was another accident outside my apartment. A car backed into one of the tenants over the hardware store. Unfortunately, the person that backed into the tenant then took off. The police were called and it was followed through. I've been thinking a lot today about, I live on School Street. It's my front yard and I love it, but it terrifies me. I was told last year that there were some strips that could be put across the road to slow traffic down, and I don't think it's the best solution, but barring getting some signage. I've also had people stopping. I had somebody last night stopping to talk to me on my porch, ask me, could they park here? was this public parking. And I showed them that it was. People are now doing U-turns between the Red Barn and my house. And as you know, especially if you're interested, all of the 18-wheelers are doing U-turns in this parking lot. I think it's hard for anybody who actually doesn't live on the street to understand how dangerous it is. Last week, a young man in a small Jeep or something, he was going so fast. And this isn't limited to young people. People go so fast around this turn that as they're taking the turn, they slide towards the rear foot. But that's how fast they're going. I would love for the entire select board to come down to the next dump day when you've got people coming in and out in 6 different directions. Fortunately, I know of only one accident there, which was early on. I just want to advocate. Many people have thanked me for my sign. I really think we need signage that indicates that there is public parking, that there is I'm not sure I think the word, town parking. Okay, that it's a public parking area.
It's not a parking lot, that's right there.
No, I know that, but this is a parking lot. People in town have asked me about it because I live next door. What do I know? And one of the things some people are under the impression that parking is for inner traditions and inner traditions only. One person said they thought that they made a deal with the town. I said, I have no idea. It's just not common knowledge. There should be a sign on Route 100 saying with an arrow, I can't think of the word, I apologize, but open parking. There are signs that say no overnight parking. Parking ride, personally, is an issue. I don't really feel safe walking along the road because there's no indication of what's road and what's not road. There is a line, but it's confusing.
I have a question. Why are people in trucks doing U-turns and go over the road?
I have no idea. Because the way they want to come in and out. Right here.
They turn here a lot.
Every day. Every day there's at least 3 to 5 people. Well, that's okay, but the road wasn't designed for that. Weight-wise, width-wise, everything else. When I first moved into town, 25 years ago or so, I was told that there had been discussions for years about making this a one-way, but nobody could agree on which way. I'm advocating for signage. Town is booming. I think it's wonderful. But now we have cars parallel parking on School Street. They're pulling in between the Red Barn and my house, and they're pulling in parking perpendicular. There are people turning in there. There are people turning in here. I'm trying to track it down. I contacted DPR, but 2 weeks ago, a gentleman was speaking from a small town in Vermont, where for decades people have been asking for a change in a very dangerous intersection. Fortunately, there have not been any accidents until a few weeks ago, or a couple of months ago. I haven't gotten a response from DPR yet. And 4 people died. Okay, I'm not a doomsday. I'm just a very practical person who sits on my porch as much as I can, and I see this all the time. So, out of concern for people's safety, I bring it up again.
Time's up anyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? I move we adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.